What's up, everyone? It's NikkiPursuit, and today, myself, Ralph, and Rosendo made our way out to one of Southern California's most iconic community traditions, the Conejo Valley Chili Cook-Off and Classic Car Show. This event has been bringing people together for decades, blending live entertainment, local vendors, carnival energy, food competitions, and of course, a strong lineup of classic cars and custom builds. From muscle cars and lowriders to vintage cruisers and unique projects, the car show side of the event always adds another layer of culture to an already massive community gathering. So for today, we're walking the grounds, checking out the rides, exploring the atmosphere, and seeing what makes this longtime SoCal event continue to draw crowds year after year. Let's get into it. One of the most important names tied to the early history of chili cook-offs was none other than Carroll Shelby, the legendary race car driver and creator behind the Shelby Cobra and GT350 Mustang. Shelby helped host the original Terlingua cook-off, giving the event a strong connection to American automotive culture right from the beginning. In many ways, the spirit of hot rods, racing, and Texas-style competition naturally crossed over into the chili scene. As chili cook-offs grew in popularity through the 1970s, organizations like the International Chili Society, or ICS, were formed to standardize rules and expand events nationwide. Communities across America began creating their own local versions, not just as cooking competitions, but as full-scale festivals built around entertainment, vendors, family activities, and eventually car shows. Here in Thousand Oaks, the Rotary Club transformed that concept into what became one of the Conejo Valley's biggest annual traditions. Now entering its 49th year in 2026, the Thousand Oaks Chili Cook-Off evolved far beyond chili alone. The event grew into a massive community fundraiser featuring live music, craft brews, carnival attractions, and a major classic car presence that draws enthusiasts from all over Southern California. And honestly, cars fit naturally into the event's identity. Classic cars represent craftsmanship, pride, restoration, and American culture, values that mirror the passion behind competitive chili cooking itself. Over time, the car show became one of the event's biggest attractions, helping bridge together generations of enthusiasts in one shared space. Today, the Thousand Oaks Chili Cook-Off stands as more than just a festival. It's a reflection of how food, community, and car culture became intertwined through decades of American tradition. Right here, we're looking at one of the most recognizable vehicles ever created, the Volkswagen Type 2, better known as the Microbus, Combi, or VW Bus. This particular generation is the original T1, often nicknamed the Splitty because of its signature split-front windshield design. The idea for the bus actually began in 1947 when Dutch Volkswagen importer Ben Pon sketched out a simple utility van based on the chassis of the Volkswagen Beetle. By 1950, production officially began, and the Type 2 quickly became one of Volkswagen's most important vehicles. Originally, these buses were designed to be practical. Families used them, businesses used them, and travelers converted them into campers. But over time, the VW bus evolved into something much bigger than transportation. It became a cultural icon. By the 1960s and 70s, the microbus became deeply tied to the counterculture movement, symbolizing freedom, road trips, music festivals, and a more carefree lifestyle. It became known worldwide as the ultimate hippie van, often covered in peace signs, psychedelic paint, and custom interiors. One unique feature you can see here are the safari windows, those front windshield panels that pivot outward for extra airflow. They became especially popular in warmer climates and are now one of the most sought-after vintage VW details among collectors. Another interesting part of VW bus history is the different window configurations. Higher-end Samba models featured extra skylight windows along the roof, creating some of the most collectible versions ever made. Even decades later, the Type 2 remains one of the most beloved vehicles in automotive history, not because it was the fastest or most luxurious, but because it represented adventure, individuality, and the freedom of the open road. Right here, we're looking at a lineup of early American classics that helped lay the foundation for what would eventually become hot rod culture in the United States. Up front on the left is a 1932 Ford, often referred to by enthusiasts as the legendary Deuce. The 1932 Ford became iconic because it was the first affordable Ford available with a factory V8 engine, completely changing performance culture for everyday drivers during the Great Depression. That upright grille design alone has become one of the most recognizable shapes in automotive history. Next to it sits a bright red 1931 Ford Model A coupe, reimagined as a traditional hot rod. Originally, the Model A was designed as an affordable and practical car for American families, replacing the Model T and helping continue Ford's dominance into the late 1920s and early 1930s. But decades later, these lightweight bodies became perfect platforms for customization. Builders started swapping in larger V8 engines, lowering the suspension and transforming them into faster, louder, and more aggressive street machines. And in the background, you can see another early 1930s Ford build, continuing that same era of craftsmanship and backyard creativity that defined early hot rodding culture. What makes these cars important isn't just their age, it's what they represent. After World War II, returning servicemen began modifying old pre-war cars with surplus parts and homemade engineering, creating what would become the American hot rod movement. So when you look at these vehicles today, you're not just seeing old Fords, you're looking at the roots of modern car culture itself. At the Chili Cook-Off is a true icon of 1950s American style. The 1956 Ford Thunderbird convertible, finished in a bright Bermuda blue that perfectly matches the optimism and flash of the era. When Ford introduced the Thunderbird in 1955, it wasn't meant to be a hardcore sports car like the Chevrolet Corvette. Instead, Ford created what they called a personal luxury car, something stylish, comfortable, powerful, and designed for cruising in style. That idea would eventually create an entirely new segment of American automobiles. By 1956, Ford refined the formula even further. One of the easiest ways to recognize a 56 Thunderbird is the famous rear-mounted spare tire, often called the Continental Kit. It wasn't just added for looks, it actually freed up more trunk space while giving the car an even more upscale appearance. Under the hood, many of these Thunderbirds came equipped with Ford's 312 cubic inch Y-block V8, paired with a smooth Ford-O-Matic automatic transmission. For the mid-1950s, this was serious performance wrapped inside a luxury cruiser. The Thunderbird also reflected the changing culture of America during the post-war boom. Cars were no longer just transportation, they became statements of personality, success, and freedom. With its chrome-heavy styling, low stance, wraparound windshield, and convertible top, the Thunderbird embodied the jet-age optimism that defined the decade. Today, cars like this are more than classics, they're rolling time capsules. Seeing one parked out here at the Chili Cook-Off connects modern car culture back to the golden age of American cruising, where design, comfort, and personality mattered just as much as horsepower. Parked here at the Chili Cook-Off is something you don't see every day. A fully restored 1972 AMC Matador Enforcer police car, one of the most recognizable patrol vehicles used by the Los Angeles Police Department during the early 1970s. At a time when most police departments relied heavily on Ford and Chevrolet platforms, the LAPD surprised many people by choosing the AMC Matador from 1972 through 1974. The reason came down to performance. The Matador offered strong braking capability, solid pursuit handling, and a tough, muscular body design that worked well for Southern California freeway patrol work. AMC specifically built the Enforcer package for law enforcement use, equipping these cars with heavy-duty suspension systems, upgraded cooling, reinforced electrical systems, and police-specific interiors. Inside, officers often had fold-down desks for paperwork and stolen vehicle reports, commonly called hot sheets, along with Motorola radio systems and powerful Federal Interceptor sirens. Beyond real-world policing, the Matador became a piece of television history. Many people recognize this exact style of patrol car from the classic TV series Adam 12, where the LAPD spec AMC Matador appeared prominently during the show's final seasons. That exposure helped cement the car as one of the defining police vehicles of 1970s Los Angeles culture. The Matador also represented an interesting chapter in American automotive history. American Motors Corporation, better known as AMC, was considered the underdog compared to Detroit's Big Three. But vehicles like the Matador proved the company could compete in performance and durability when it mattered most. Today, seeing one restored like this is almost like stepping into a time capsule of 1970s California, back when analog radios crackled, chrome bumpers ruled the streets, and police cruisers carried a presence that became part of American television and car culture alike. Sitting here at the Chili Cook-Off is one of the coolest and most unique vehicles of the 1960s, the Dodge A100 pickup, a compact forward control truck that perfectly captures the experimental spirit of classic American automotive design. Built by Chrysler between 1964 and 1970, the A100 was Dodge's answer to vehicles like the Ford Econoline and Volkswagen Type 2. But unlike traditional trucks of the era, the A100 used a cab-forward design, meaning the driver sat almost directly over the front wheels, while the engine was mounted between the seats. That unusual setup gave the truck a short wheelbase, tons of cargo room, and incredible maneuverability for city driving. One of the biggest reasons the A100 became so memorable was its personality. These trucks look futuristic for the mid-1960s, especially with their flat nose, panoramic windshield, and compact proportions. Dodge originally offered them with reliable slant-six engines, but by 1965, the A100 became the first compact American truck available with a V8 engine, helping transform it from a work vehicle into something enthusiasts could truly customize and hot rod. And speaking of customization, that's where the A100 really exploded in popularity. This platform became a favorite for surfers, drag racers, van culture enthusiasts, and custom builders throughout the late 60s and 70s. One of the most legendary versions was the Little Red Wagon, a Hemi-powered A100 drag truck famous for pulling massive wheel stands down quarter-mile tracks across America. The A100 also became a pop culture icon over the years, appearing in television, movies, and custom car shows, helping cement its reputation as one of the most recognizable vans and pickups of its generation. Looking at this restored example today, with its clean paint, polished chrome, and surfboard sitting out front, it perfectly represents the freedom and creativity of 1960s California car culture, where vehicles weren't just transportation, they became part of a lifestyle. After spending time checking out the cars, hearing the engines, and diving into the history behind the builds, we finally took a break to experience the other half of the event, the chili itself. And honestly, that's what makes events like the Thousand Oaks Chili Cook-Off so unique. It's not just about the cars or just about the food, it's the combination of both communities coming together in one place. As the day started winding down at the Thousand Oaks Chili Cook-Off, Ralph, Rosendo, and myself, NikkiPursuit, spent the rest of our time doing what a lot of car enthusiasts love most, just watching the final wave of cars roll out of the lot. There's something different about the ending of a car show. The crowds slowly thin out, chairs start folding up, vendors begin packing away, and one by one, the engines come back to life. You hear the rumble of classic V8s, the whistle of newer performance builds, and the sound of decades of automotive history cruising out together one last time before the event officially comes to a close. After spending the day exploring the variety of vehicles, learning the stories behind them, and finally taking time to try the chili itself, it felt like the perfect way to wrap everything up. The atmosphere shifted from a busy daytime event into that calm final moment where everyone gets one last look at the cars before they disappear onto the streets again. And honestly, that's part of what keeps people coming back every year. Events like the Thousand Oaks Chili Cook-Off aren't just about food or horsepower, they're about community, tradition, and preserving a culture that connects generations of enthusiasts together. Another year of the Chili Cook-Off is officially in the books. And from classics to customs, good food to good company, this one definitely left its mark.